Dr. Thomas Jeffrey Miley, lecturer of political sociology in the Department of Sociology at the University of Cambridge. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you. So our topic with you again today is Kurdish leader Mr. Öcalan. What does Abdullah Öcalan mean for the Kurdish people? Let's start with this one.
Well, Abdullah Ocalan is something like the incarnation of the Kurdish nation. He was the catalyst of a national awakening for broad swaths of the Kurdish population across, especially in the Kurdish region of Turkey, but across the Kurdish population more generally. He is an inspiration for the Kurdish freedom movement, and he's the principal leader of the Kurdish freedom movement, broadly recognized as the leader of the Kurdish freedom movement. In many respects, he's similar to Nelson Mandela, someone who is seen to be, again, the incarnation of the nation, and his suffering, the inhumane conditions in which he's been in prison for the last 20 years are also symbolic of the suffering of the Kurdish people. So there's a broad sentiment that the fate of Abdullah Öcalan is linked very directly to the fate of the Kurdish people, the Kurdish nation.
Thank you. Dear Jeff, can you sit back a bit because you're cutting your head? Yeah, perfect, like this. Thank you. Yeah. Why is Öcalan's freedom is so important at that stage while in the Middle East the chaos is still growing? So how would you like to value the Öcalan's freedoms? How important it is?
Well, Öcalan is a crucial role player for the possibility for peace in the region, and again, this makes him a similar figure to Nelson Mandela. Öcalan has been a consistent voice for peace, and if there's gonna be peace in the region, it has to come linked to the freedom of Abdullah Öcalan. Without the freedom for Öcalan, I think that it will be very, very difficult for there to be peace in the region. And he is, he's a crucial role player. And so for that reason, I think the freedom of Abdullah Öcalan, along with the delisting of the PKK, are very important prerequisites for there being a democratic solution to the Kurdish question and a peaceful resolution to the conflict that's been going on for over 40 years now.
Thank you. Also, let's talk a little bit about the confederalism as well, democratic confederalism. What is the significance of Öcalan's articulation of democratic confederalism?
Yes, I mean, I think that this is one of the reasons as well that Öcalan is such an important figure, because his elaboration of the theory of democratic confederalism is what I would say is something that renders him a world historical figure. It's a rearticulation of self-determination, what self-determination can and must mean in the 21st century, so that the Kurdish movement has evolved enormously from what was a very typical national liberation movement to a movement that espouses an understanding of self-determination as radical democracy against the state. It's an understanding of self-determination that puts the struggle against patriarchy at the very center of the struggle for self-determination. It also is an understanding of self-determination that looks to overcome the dialectic of the tyranny of majority-minority by accommodating all ethnic and religious groups in a kind of multicultural, multi-religious confederation, a kind of accommodation. And it also is an articulation of self-determination which puts ecological sustainability at the very center of the cause. So as an understanding of of what self-determination can mean in the 21st century, the democratic confederal ideal, I think, is crucial. And it's not just crucial as an ideal; it's crucial in practice. On the ground in Rojava, the revolutionaries in Rojava in the northeast of Syria have taken Öcalan's democratic confederal inspiration and are building a society, a revolutionary society, amidst so much tyranny and chaos in the region. It really is an alternative, a democratic alternative, and an alternative that promises peace for the region.
How is Öcalan's imprisonment indicative of the insidious logic of the so-called war in terror?
Yeah, it certainly is. His imprisonment certainly is indicative of what you call the insidious logic of the war on terror, insofar as it's an attempt to repress, and to punish through repression, to silence, rather than to accommodate democratically. And if we think about the disastrous spiral of violence and terror that has been the consequence at a world level of this logic and paradigm of the war on terror, I think the imprisonment of Öcalan is, I think, very indicative of that. The imprisonment of Öcalan is. Öcalan himself is considered to be by the Turkish state, the NATO countries, a terrorist, when in fact he is a freedom fighter and a leading voice that articulates a vision of society, which is the only viable and desirable alternative to the spiraling of tyranny and chaos in the region. And so I think that the war on terror is precisely a formula for an Orwellian formula for never-ending war, and the imprisonment of Öcalan is about continuing this war on the Kurdish people rather than opening up for a democratic and peaceful solution to the Kurdish question.
Thank you. Just an extra question to fill up our time with a short answer, if you can, very short, very briefly. Why do you think the PKK is being on the terrorist organization list on Europe? Of course, the UK has been lead that decision at the back of the time, and so how important it is to delist the PKK from the terrorist organization as well? Very short, very briefly.
Yes, just as the freedom of Abdullah Öcalan is a crucial prerequisite for peace in the region, so too is delisting the PKK. So the war on terror has at the center of its struggle, of its assault on freedom and democracy is the repression of the PKK. The PKK, an organization that promotes the struggle for the freedom of the Kurdish people. And it's an organization as well that has undergone radical transformation over the years as well, and is committed to a potential democratic resolution to the Kurdish question. So I would put the freedom for Öcalan along with the delisting of the PKK as crucial prerequisites for a durable and democratic peace.
Dear Dr. Thomas Jeffrey Miley, Lecturer of Political Sociology in the Department of Sociology at the University of Cambridge, thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments today.